For today's Cyber CEO episode,
thank you to Xerxes because he's doing a great job. I so appreciate the time that he puts into it. I know that he's got his finger on the pulse of what's happening. So that's one of the things I really appreciate. Shout out to Cyberbacker as a company. It's a great, well-organized company and an organization of great people. And I really appreciate that about the company. Xerxes does a great job. The organization does a great job too. I would say it's a 10 out of a 10. It's wonderful.
welcome to Cyber CEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. Cyber CEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. Another awesome day here at Cyberbacker. My name is Jello. We're back with another episode of Cyber CEO. And of course, we have a very special guest coming back to the show. Mary Beth, how are you doing today?
Jello, I'm doing great today. Thank you for asking.
We're very excited to have you back. And of course, we just wanted to kick it off, of course, just to check up on you and your Cyberbacker. I believe it's going on your second year, this 2023, working with Cyberbacker, right?
That's correct. And I am thrilled to be able to talk about Cyberbacker today and our Cyberbacker, Xerxes. And yes, I can't believe it myself. Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years in partnership with someone who's virtual. Now, talk to me then. Seems to me everything's going great, but I still want to know, how is everything going with your Cyberbacker, Xerxes?
I would say, let's just get right to it. It's a 10 out of a 10.
10 out of 10.
Xerxes
right
does a great job. The organization does a great job too.
Good to know that you're having a wonderful experience with Cyberbacker. Now, let's go back though. Who told you about Cyberbacker in the first place before you got partnered with us, of course?
The very first time I heard about Cyberbacker was when Genevieve, my assistant here, was taking a class with Monica Reynolds. Monica being the former head of MAPS coaching. And we were, I believe I was on one of the sessions where, for the perfect assistant, that was the session. And I was on one of the sessions and she referred to her Cyberbacker. And I wasn't sure what that was. So I asked Genevieve, I said, what's Cyberbacker? And she said, I heard her talk about it too. I said, well, let's look into it a little bit more, because then I had heard it had something to do with Keller Williams. And I'm always interested in that. And that was the first time I heard about Cyberbacker.
Okay, so one of the sessions, coaching sessions there. Now, again, it's going to be 2 years that you've been working with Cyberbacker. What comes to your mind now when you hear that word? It's just Cyberbacker.
Well, when I first heard it, I wasn't sure if it was a virtual assistant, because cyber, not quite sure. But now, it rolls off the tongue, and it's something. It's an organization. It's a concept where you have help to do the things that are, the things that are you should not be doing as the person who's in charge of the team, as the leader, as the CEO. Cyberbacker is somebody who can back me up and take care of all of those day-to-day duties that I should not be involved with.
100%. Of course, your Cyberbacker is what you mentioned there to back you up, to double your time so you can focus on your business. Now, let's go back again there. Let's say first time hearing about Cyberbacker, what were your, let's say, initial expectations about Cyberbacker though?
Once I learned a little bit more about it, and I had found out that it was founded by a former MAPS coach, or maybe Craig is still a MAPS coach, I'm not sure. But when I heard about Craig Goodliff being a Keller Williams person, I thought, well, right off the bat, the quality of what is offered at Keller Williams is truly second to none, whether it's the training, the leadership, the support, all of the things that real estate agents need. I thought, well, if Keller Williams is somehow involved with this, then I want to know more about it. And then I learned that Craig had found the company. I looked into his background a little bit and was very impressed. And I thought, oh, this is something that I want to get serious about.
Yes, again, our awesome CEO right there, Craig Goodliff, helped everyone, of course, to start Cyberbacker. Now, how about virtual leverage then? It's 2 years working with Cyberbacker. What has been the biggest impact of virtual leverage to your business so far?
The biggest impact has come in our database. And that was it was a little unstructured. It was certainly not something that you could navigate real clearly. We didn't have all the data filled in, and that has been probably the most important thing that Xerxes has done with our business. And he does a fantastic job. He's conscientious. He works hard to fill in all the spots that need to be filled in. So database is first. He's then taken that and brought that over into Command. And then that integration of all of the information that needs to go in Command, he has taken charge of that and has done that. One of the touches that I do with clients is through a company called Send Out Cards. And Send Out Cards is terrific. And you can create cards, send them to people for all sorts of milestones in their lives. And because Xerxes has done a great job with the database and obtaining birthdays and home anniversaries, now we have going out anywhere between 50 and 70 cards a month that Xerxes creates and sends out to all of our friends and clients and family. And that has been huge. It then allows me, if it's someone's birthday today, because in addition to all these other things, he sends me an email the day before of all the people who are celebrating their birthdays the next day. And he'll say, we sent them a send out card. So I can call, like this morning on my way here to the office, I called Mike and I said, Mike, it's your birthday. I hope you're having a great day. And he said, oh, thank you for that fabulous card. I had a great conversation with him. Excellent touch. And then I called Margaret and I said, oh, today is a special day. Happy birthday. She said, I love the photo that you sent of my daughter and I. Now, just because Xerxes doesn't know everybody I know, he does send me the send out cards with just showing me what are the photos that he's going to use for each person. And I can then just approve the list of the photos just in case, Mike is this Mike and not that Mike. We want to make sure Mike gets the appropriate photo. So that's our little quality control. And it works almost flawlessly. It's fantastic. So that one other thing I want to mention is that I love that Xerxes does is his morning greeting in the morning, end of day activity list that he keeps in a very detailed Google sheet. And he also monitors all the work he's doing and then puts all of that into the data points so I can see at a glance at what he's doing. And it's great. So those are some of the things that he does that have really been key. Another thing is setting up the smart plans through Command.
Oh, very important.
The whole integration of using this great tool that we have at Keller Williams that he's done a super job adopting, and learning all of the features. That's what's made it so great.
Gosh, imagine in the span of 2 years, the growth that you've had. And I think that's a good touch right there. Again, just sending out the cards, letting you know whose birthday it is tomorrow, give them a quick call. It builds the relationship that you have with the people in your database, right?
That's exactly right. And it's so critical that you do that. And you need to be able to call people, not just to ask them for business. I don't want them to see my name pop up on the phone and say, oh, she's just calling to see if I have any listings. I don't even bring up listings when I call people on the birthdays, because then they see your name and they're not, here's another sales call. We don't want that. But all this leverage really helps. That Xerxes has put together for us. So it's wonderful.
Yes, I think in any kind of business, relationships with not just clients, but everyone in the team too is very important, right? Don't you agree?
Exactly.
Now, talking about that partnership, how do you build virtual partnership with someone who's virtual? How did you and your business do it with Xerxes? Because again, I know you would agree, in any kind of partnership or relationship, you have to build on it, you have to work on it. So how did you do it with your Cyberbacker?
Well, right off the bat, we initiated a daily huddle. And I think that that's critical because you need to establish and then continue the relationship. And the huddle allows us to talk about things that have happened, what's coming up, manage any issues that might happen, talk about, client, status, what's happening with this deal, what's happening with that listing. And so the daily huddle is really critical. And then we have a once a week team meeting. And that's about an hour to 2 hours, whatever's necessary. And that's where we delve into more of strategies and things coming up in the months to come. Any other, we have a whole agenda. And that I think it's critical. You have to have that kind of level of communication on a regular basis. And whenever I talk to other agents, who say, "Oh, wow, it sounds like you really like your Cyberbacker and it's going great." I said, one of the key things is you have to be able to communicate. And we do it by text, phone calls when necessary. The Google Meet is how we do all the online communications. And also, I don't do this as much because I'm already, we can already group text when we want. But I know that through Google Chat, Genevieve and Xerxes, they communicate as well.
So really open and close communication with your Cyberbacker. I mean, clear communication with your Cyberbacker. Now, why is it important? You mentioned that it's really critical to have that open communication with your Cyberbacker. Why? Why do you think so?
In addition to having open communication, it needs to be consistent. Just like everything else in this business, you have to be consistent. And I'm not always the best at it, and I'm constantly working on that. But having the consistency of doing this on a day-to-day basis, it allows you to learn a little bit more about your Cyberbacker, maybe a little bit more about the culture of the Filipinos, which is a brilliant culture. And we get to talk about food, that is, different types of food. And we have Filipino restaurants opening up in our area. So it's consistent, and you get to learn other things that are not, work, purely work involved type thing. So it kind of broadens the relationship as well as deepens it. And it's fun because we laugh and we have a good time, and it's wonderful. So those are really important things.
Having those laughs or moments with your Cyberbackers, I think that also strengthens the partnership that you have, because you get to know who the person is, where this person is from, things like that. As what you mentioned, learning about the culture. I think it tightens the bond between you and your Cyberbacker, right?
No question. No question.
Now, another question that I have, for sure, I know it's been a very, very successful partnership between you and your Cyberbacker. So what advice would you give other business owners listening right now when they're partnering with their very first Cyberbacker? It's their first time to work with someone virtual.
Number one, you have to have a very clear-cut idea of what you want your Cyberbacker to do. And it's going to take time on the leader or CEO's, take part of the day to do that. You have to sit down and, physically type up what it is you want them to do. You have to be focused on that. You have to know their strengths, which you've already gone through as part of the interview process. And as you see how the Cyberbacker works with you, you focus on those strengths. You try to enhance them by, of course, expressing your appreciation, expressing the fact that they did something the way you wanted them to do it. Mm-hmm. And you also have to keep an eye on the things that you want them to do. And then when you have that comfort level, which comes pretty quickly, then you can move on to adding some additional tasks. So that's important, knowing what you want your Cyberbacker to do. Then having regular communication and monitoring the progress. And because Xerxes has a great system of, keeping track of everything that he's doing, it's easy at a glance to see what exactly Xerxes is working on, the metrics that come from his contacts that he's entering, the send out cards that he's sending, all those things. So you've got the communication and the tracking and things like that. And it just builds a trust that is, is just so invaluable.
Yes, I think that trust between people, between two partners, is very important. Again, how do you build that trust, though? Aside from communication, the trust between you and your cyberbacker, how do you build that?
Well, I know when Xerxes does, if I say to him, Xerxes, can you please send out a send out card to, Michelle for XYZ? He'll get back to me and say, sure, it's done. Quick little bursts of emails just to say, acknowledge that it was done. And then you know that it was done. You see, for the birthdays, I see the photos of all the people. So I know it's done. And I see over time that he will pick up on things that I say about certain clients, and he will respond to that. Like, can you do maybe a little bit better picture of this person, or find a little bit better picture of this person with, their spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend? And like, I see that he incorporates those pictures now, even better than before. So he's, over time, that really, you can see how that's working, and that builds more trust.
Yes. And I think also time. It really takes time for that trust to be built between two people too, right?
And a client, cyberbacker, someone like myself, you have to be watching these things. You can't just say, oh, I have a virtual assistant now. I'm just going to, throw this out, have them do all these things, and just like kind of sit back. You can't be passive about this. This is a commitment. Commitment to your business, a commitment to Cyberbacker. And I think that, I feel like I owe it to Xerxes to have that regular communication, to monitor what's going on, to give good feedback. And it's definitely a two-way street. This is not a passive relationship.
Totally agree with you there. I like what you mentioned. It's a two-way street for it to work out. And again, you have to put in the work as well, just as long as like your cyberbacker, has to put the work on it for the partnership to be successful, just like what you and your Xerxes has. Now, we've been talking about him for a while now, and for sure, once we have this online, he's going to be listening, watching. I was wondering, do you have any special messages or a quick shout out you'd like to give out to your awesome cyberbacker before we go today?
Well, two things. I absolutely want to say thank you to Xerxes, because he's doing a great job. And I so appreciate the time that he puts into it, because you can tell, he has his eye on what's happening, even, maybe on the off hours. He's not working on the off hours, because I would not want him to do that. But I know that he's got his finger on the pulse of what's happening. So that's one of the things I really appreciate. And the other thing I want to say is that shout out to Cyberbacker as a company. It's a great, well-organized company and an organization of great people. And from Craig to all the head backers to all the various backers in the organization, it's so well organized. And I really appreciate that about the company. And I tell people in other industries, and hopefully, one day I'll be able to have even a sub-franchise, because I believe in this concept so much, because I know the training, I see the list of training, I see the classes that Xerxes can take. So it's just a well-run company, and I'm thrilled to be a partner with not only Xerxes, but with Cyberbacker too.
Also, we are very, very excited to see the continued growth of this partnership. Also, we appreciate your business, Mary Beth. We're very excited for what the future holds. And again, thank you very much for coming back to the show. We really appreciate it. Always have a great time talking to you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of Cyber CEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.